joining me on the show today is a phenomenal woman in Edmonton who has a gym, who owns a gym, and she's a game changer. Yes, her name is Francoise Alice Madzimure. Thank you for coming on the show, Françoise.
Thank you, Amanda, for having me.
You sound nervous today.
Yes, I am.
Why are you nervous?
I'll try because I'm just camera shy, but
yeah,
I think we got this. You're very conversational and it's relaxing.
Awesome. She owns the gym Fit Body Bootcamp in Edmonton on the west side. And today we're just going to hear how she turned her passion into a dream, to a reality, right? So my first question to you actually is, your background, you're a mother. You're a mother. You
wasn't always a mother.
Yes, you were not always a mother, but the fact that you're a mother now and you have all this now, how did you manage to juggle everything from, you did it when you had kids, right? And what made you think of having a gym later on instead of earlier in life?
Actually, to be honest, I have always wanted to be self-employed. But again, I grew up in Zimbabwe, and like most African kids, you don't have really family role models that tell you, oh start a business, because most people with businesses, they didn't go to school or whatever. So it's like you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. And my dad was an accountant, so me being the first one, he wanted to be an accountant as well. So I went to actually university to study business. Finance, but I knew even at university I just was doing it to please him, that I was just not gonna go and just go work in a bank. Or some financial institution. I knew eventually I was just going to raise money somehow and start a business, offer a service, because it's something that I felt I wanted just to create something that people can find of value and use it. So in my mind, it was not a gym. It was just a service I can offer and take pleasure in just delivering it, and people pay me for it.
Right. So what made you actually now eventually think, oh, gym is the one?
Okay. So then fast forward 4 years later after getting done with my degree, we moved here with my whole family, parents, because in Zimbabwe we were refugees. We were refugees there for over 10 years from Rwanda. But Zimbabwe is like my home, because I speak Shona, and I'm actually more fluent in Shona than my maternal language. And then my husband too, who is Zimbabwean, came here, and he was actually the one who said, I started working for the bank here, and he was like, but you always wanted to be self-employed, so why are you in a bank? And I was like, well, this is a new country, and I don't know how things go here, so. But the moment we had that discussion, I remember we owned that one little room apartment. We were sleeping on the floor, didn't have a furniture when we first arrived. And I was like, I'm going to start researching on it right away. And it took me, I guess, 5 years to save up money, because we're also saving for him to go back to school, medical school. And 5 years mark, I quit when actually my career, I would have said, was at its highest. I was now like a portfolio planner, helping people to retire. And anybody would have thought I'm stupid to just draw.
Exactly, like right now I'm thinking, risking, because starting a business is a risk.
It is, but when it's a fire, when it's a passion, you don't care about the money part. And I know it sounds maybe like I'm lying, but to be honest, even after doing my research, I realized, I'm not going to make money right away, and I'm leaving a 6-figure income, and oh boy, what am I going to do? And my husband is full-time in school. And we have 2 kids now to feed, but you know what? I'm going to bust my butt, I'm going to hustle. It's in my blood, I want to hustle.
And imagine the pressure, especially from family. So how can you do something for free? How can you know what I mean? And that's not just
so
family,
my parents were let down.
Yes,
my parents were like, really? We sent you to university to just go lift, dumbbells? And I was like, Mom, this is actually a passion, because all the 5 years as a financial planner, I gained so much weight, like 50 pounds over my little frame, because I was always on the desk and always stressed out. I was on the stock market every day, so that's a stressful life where you're just watching monies and people lose their monies and they take it out on you. So gaining that weight, I just thought how many more professionals are in my situation that are just not happy where they are, and they wish they had a solution, like where you can even squeeze in a workout. In college I played soccer, so I knew it had to do with something to do with sports. But it was really a total coincidence for me to decide that this was going to be their business. But because I thought there are many other families, mothers, fathers who are in my situation who could use a gym that is just fast but gives them results, and they still can go there and look after their families and all. So that's what led to my research, and then I just quit and I went for a fitness business summit in the United States because there was no model like that here. So in my research I realized, oh, it's down there in California, let me go find it. And I knew nobody in California. But I went online and I found this guy who started the franchise, and I'm like, can I attend one of your seminars?
And market research is important.
Yes, you have to do your research. And I called a few people in the United States who owned same kind of model. Even like CrossFit and all that. Because the only one here in Edmonton was like a CrossFit, but not exact. I wanted to be an intelligent, science-based kind of workout. Not just, just lift dumbbells and go home.
The normal.
So for me, it had to make sense. And I'm like a math person. So I was like, okay, there has to be nutrition part too. So Fit Body Bootcamp was one brand that really identified with what I wanted to bring. Then I took the leap. They were like, it's this much to join in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sell whatever I have and to pay for this. So it's not like I had so much savings. No, I just emptied everything and took my flight to San Diego and never looked back.
And the good thing is at least, and what?
Okay. Did you just say what?
Okay, we're gonna go back.
That was 4 years ago. Yeah, I know it sounds like forever, but
no, it doesn't sound like forever. That's my point, because with where you are right now, it does not seem like forever. It feels like if you had said maybe 10, we'll say, oh yeah, it makes sense with where you're at now. You know what I mean? Like what you have now would have not been accomplished in 4 years by some people. That's where my point is. You're doing really great, but
I'm impatient with myself.
That's the thing. It's about pushing yourself, right? So you mentioned that you emptied your bank accounts. You did whatever it took for you to do whatever. So weren't you afraid of filing bankruptcy? Didn't the banks call you? There's always hurdles when you're starting a business.
But I honestly have to give credit to my husband. He knows I'm very ambitious. And he had his fears. He was like, what the hell are you putting us into and all that? But I was like, hey, I'm driven. I work hard. If it means I'm going to clean houses at night, I'm going to do that. And he's like, and you're just leaving a nice job that was flying you all over the world, and now you're going to do this stupid thing. But he always knew I had that fire in me. And that's what I said, that when it comes to a passion, to a fire in you, you don't focus on the downfalls, on the risks. You focus on the potentials. So for me, I knew there were many people who want that kind of service here in Edmonton, not having something like that. And honestly, now there is 6 locations that do the same thing, and I'm so proud to see that.
So in other words, were you the first?
Yes. So, and then everyone who wants to open one comes and interviews me to ask me how it works, and I feel happy to give, right? To be like, this is how it works, this is how you're gonna hire,
and that's how you're gonna run it. That's what you wanted.
I always want to not only help our clients, but help other women and men who want to be in the business too. Whatever business it is. But you're right, it's a risk. I was afraid, but I feel what keeps me grounded is that we're also refugees in Zimbabwe for like over 10 years. And when we left, my dad was a politician, but we left with just our clothes on our back for 3 months trying to hide from the killers in Rwanda. And it taught me a lesson that I never thought it would come handy later on in life. That things don't matter. And you can start and you can have nothing and build something.
It's all about determination.
And people help. It's funny how when I opened doors, I had only one client, and that one client is the one who ran around calling all friends to be like, come.
Wow.
And then within 2 months, I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, no more coming.
Right. So you ended up obviously having to hire people.
Yes, I couldn't do it myself alone.
With
the kids again, and my husband being full-time in school, it just became right away that, oh my goodness, you grew bigger than you thought.
Yes.
And you better smarten up and hurry up and do something before people get mad that they can't get in the classes.
Right. Oh, that's great. So, were there moments that you felt like it's... You mentioned that you never looked on the downside, right? On the downside.
I did, but I didn't focus on it.
Okay.
Yes.
You didn't focus
there are days when I was
yeah.
like, oh my goodness, our mortgage is going to bounce.
Yeah, okay.
But then I would right away, hey, we have this promotion, and then bam, we have 10 people sign up.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I focused on what pays the bills.
Okay.
And what helps people be happy about the services we are getting, as opposed to, oh my goodness, oh, this bill has come. And yeah, because I mean, when you're renting a building, before I didn't even rent this, we were renting another gym space where our time was limited, but we grew big and we're like, oh my goodness, we need our own space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
but then
great.
when you do that, now you gotta pay rent and electricity and water and everything.
Yeah. Oh wow,
and
that's awesome.
So, and then it's all on you, but I wasn't focusing so much on that, and I think maybe it's a weakness.
Okay.
Because you can be in your bubble.
But I don't think it's a weakness though, because these sayings out there, what you think is what you attract. So obviously, if you focus, like you're saying, if you're focused on the downfall, perhaps you're going to fall.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm a Christian, so I always believe what you say.
Yeah.
That you focus on your blessings, not on your problems.
Yes.
So even my husband is the one who panics because he's more very realistic. I'm the it's all gonna be fine.
It's all gonna be fine type of person.
So we balance each out that well because he's like, no, look at the account. What? I'm like, don't worry. I have a promo, and on Monday we're gonna sell out, and for sure it happens.
Yes.
So
there's life and death in the past at times.
Yes. So faith. I know to some people faith sounds stupid, but it's not blind faith. It's faith based on also evidence. That I have had evidence where I saw God's hand. Like what I told you when I opened doors and I had one client and I was like, okay, this is not what I planned. And then that same lady is running around and bringing all her work colleagues and all that. I was like, this is not a coincidence. Or other days when I was too tired, my son is sick and I don't have somebody to look after him, I have to bring him at the gym. And a client texts me, is like, thank you so much. For the first time I'm fitting in my jeans for the last 10 years. And then I realized, oh, this is why I'm doing this.
So you also mentioned the fact that you felt as if you disappointed your parents. So after you sat down with your husband, okay, sweetie, this is what we're gonna do. How did you articulate the news to your parents, to your family, and how was the response?
I didn't know. They found out, and then there was a meeting, right? Like, what are you doing? It's not too late. And then, like 6 months in, my dad is sending me, like, you know, God bless him, like ads. See, Royal Bank needs a financial plan. And this post has been out for a year. They don't have somebody with our qualifications. So it's funny because when you have that, half of you actually feels like...
kind of believes it.
Yeah.
And half of you kind of tells you, I think you're doing a crazier stuff, so you need to stop.
Yes. And then we come from a culture that really puts first... don't get me wrong, I respect education. But I feel education should be used to serve and give a service, right? And that hardly happens unless you're really providing a new service or solving a problem, which sometimes doesn't happen in an 8 to 5. And the other thing I think, like you're saying with education,
if you go for education without knowing why you're going for the education, that's another mistake that people make, because at the end of the day, somebody, like you're saying, I don't condemn people who go to school and everything, but then do you want to spend the rest of your life working for somebody else, or you're going to school, say maybe for your gym, right? I want to be independent, because at school they don't teach us to be independent. They don't teach us to become whatever it is that we want to do. They teach us to become a manager. Who's manager? Not your own manager, somebody else's manager, right?
And it's good. I mean, like I look back at my college years and I'm like, I learned that you have to submit your assignment on time. Right. You can't just decide not to show up for exam. So you learn things that even when you're self-employed, you're gonna have to learn to show up. If your client books you, you can't just call them like, oh, I don't feel like, right? So those things, you learn to start something and finish it. So, and that's what I tell my kids, and I'm like, you have to do good, you have to get good grades. But tell me, what problem do you want to solve in the world? You know, things like that. So that, yes, they know they're going to school, but they're always thinking, what problem do I want to solve? You know, so there is a place for both, and it's beautiful when you match those two, entrepreneurship and education. It's really beautiful because that's where innovation comes from, and then you have learned the discipline that comes from, you know, doing your assignments, studying for exam, you know, things like that. So, but that's something. We come from a culture that doesn't instill that to solve a problem.
I know. You just have to go to school because you have to be a doctor, you have to be a nurse, and every time I always have to bring this up on the show.
And yes, be a doctor, but are you going to come up with the next breakthrough treatment, right? Question the status quo. We're not trained to do that, right? So those are the hurdles I have had to face with my parents because they were worried. They were like, this is not predictable. You know, your education is so predictable. Why would you want to do something that you don't know what tomorrow looks like?
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's faith. So what do you have to tell the other entrepreneurs out there who feel like, oh my gosh, I am tired, I want to give up? I know to us, giving up is not an option, right? But is there anything else that you can tell to motivate other people, you know, to say, yes, hurdles do come, it's normal, right? But what can they do?
And again, to me, I again go back to just being a person of faith. That if things are not going well, go back to your drawing table. Just drawing map and be like, why am I doing this? Like for example, I have had problems with leadership whereby I felt like I wasn't being the best leader for my trainers, for my staff. And then I felt like, maybe I should just shut down this gym, right? I'm having issues with people. I don't want to deal with people. I want to go to sleep forever. Right? So there is every problem. I say it's an opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity for you to grow. So don't give up because then that means you're not growing and you're refusing to learn from that problem as an opportunity. So for me, with that example, for me it was a moment to realize, oh, I need to sharpen up on my leadership. I need to step up with having these one-on-one meetings, having how are my interviews, are they quality, how am I drawing my staff members out so that I know what their goals are, so that I know I'm actually contributing to their goals too, you know, things like that. So, or maybe if there is a money issue, or we don't have the money and the bills are piling up, how am I spending each day? Am I spending each day focused on, you know, what service can I add so that I pay for it, I charge for it and get paid for that. You know, things like that. So, or am I branching out and looking for investors? Like grow outside your comfort zone.
And that's how you grow anyway.
Because
so only stay in
problems are good. Problems are good.
If
you're not having problems, you're not growing.
That's awesome. Can you explain to the people to how the whole, you need to work hard first before the money comes, because people don't understand that concept, People have this whole thing, oh yeah, you have to be making money, you can't be wasting your time, So how can you explain to the viewers or to other entrepreneurs out there about first serving people before money can follow you?
And I think you actually explained it, that you have to put in the effort, because we live in a world that sells instant gratification. You know, like I want a girlfriend, swipe right. Is it right or left or whatever? So it's, you know, I want food, I'm just, skip the dishes, it's on my door, and it will tell me even where they are, So we're in such a world that wants things now, and I can actually have them now. So to a point where even when it comes to, I really want to be maybe an artist, they think, my first drawing, it's gonna be like chased after by everybody in every continent, right there and there.
Yeah.
And then we have lost that art of hard work and enjoying the journey,
Yes.
and then enjoying putting your hard work in there, and when it pays off,
Yeah.
to the joy is
Yeah.
just immeasurable.
Right.
When you work for something,
Yeah.
and then it pays off,
Yeah.
it's way more satisfying,
Yeah.
because then your mind is now at work. Oh, what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
And you have learned lessons you would not have learned if things just happen like instantly, like you just go rob a bank, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So you learned the art of patience, the art of, you know, the self-discipline. Just like when we talked about when you go to college, you don't go one day and you are handed your degree, right? So there is phases, and
It's a
you know,
process.
yeah, you get pregnant, you wait 9 months to get your baby.
Exactly.
It's not like
It's not
bam.
bam.
Yeah, but again, that's the world we live in, and
Yeah.
it's really leading to depression,
Right.
because then these young people are going into self-employment without realizing that, oh, it takes time, it takes work,
Right.
and then they're like, oh, I give up,
Right.
and then they see somebody who has made it, but they don't see the 5 years they have put in,
Yes.
and then they're like, I want to be like that, you
Yeah,
know, I want to be a millionaire, and yada yada.
And
But-
expect it to happen overnight. And that
Yeah.
just doesn't happen.
No,
overnight.
no, but yeah, the world will not tell you that, will not sell you that, because
Well,
you're not
that's the
gonna pay
whole point of
attention.
this talk show, is to see your success and your failures as well, right? So that people can understand, because to get to where you want to go, you're gonna have hurdles,
Yes.
whether you like
Yes,
it or
and
not,
you have
and
to
you have to
appreciate
learn.
them. And you have to love them.
Exactly, you have to love them, because that's the whole process of learning. Because when you get where you get, you're gonna face bigger challenges.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that
Exactly.
process is a learning
Every
curve,
phase
right?
prepares you for the next phase.
For the next
Yeah.
phase, right?
If you don't know how to manage your $2, you're not going to learn how to manage your $200 or
Yeah.
200 million. No,
Yes,
no.
yes.
So you have to learn, and that's what, like, I'm never ashamed to share my story as a refugee,
Yeah.
having no food, not knowing where the next food is coming from.
Yeah.
My story of arriving in Edmonton and just sleeping on the floor,
Yeah. Oh,
we
everybody
didn't,
starts from-
because we
yeah.
didn't want to jump into, oh, get it now and pay later. We wanted first to invest in our education,
Yes.
and get a job and all that,
Yeah.
and then save up for some investments, have our own home,
Right.
you know, things like that. And
Yeah.
then it's so, but it's something that most people just, they want it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want it now. If
No.
it doesn't happen now, then I'm
Yes.
done.
Yeah,
Right?
and
I
then
know
and then you get people frustrated because they don't see, like you mentioned, they don't see the grind.
Right.
They're just seeing the glory. So
Right, and then we talked about afterwards, oh, she's even wasting her time. Let's see where it's gonna go. Let's see where it's gonna get. Guys,
Right.
it's a process. As she
Yes,
has explained.
yes.
Oh, okay, that is so awesome, Francoise, and thank you so much, like, for the advice, for everything, like, just sharing your experience on its own, because it can help somebody else who also wants to start a gym. And if you need help, she's already opened her offer, like, opened an offer to you guys. She is willing to help people who also want to know how to start your own. Would it be considered a franchise, or how?
yeah, buy into a franchise, but even just starting a business from scratch, we
scratch,
just
yeah.
opened like a real estate company from scratch. So
Right.
So it's, you know, things like be out there, put
Right.
yourself out there.
Right.
There are people willing to give information, believe you or not.
And now you've mentioned put yourself out there. Word of advice. Not word of advice. You give the word of advice about, imagine, obviously people will always talk you down.
Oh, yeah.
How do you tackle yourself? How do you pick yourself up from that?
Yeah, and Amanda, and I know it kind of maybe sounds cheesy, but honestly, being a Christian, for me, that's what keeps me grounded and away from giving in to negativity
Yes.
or comparison.
Yeah.
You know, comparison is just a poison.
Yes.
Because then if somebody will be like, oh, so-and-so has more or whatever, and you start feeling so sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
Or people are like, what are you doing? Why
Yeah.
are you wasting your life away? You know,
Yeah.
others are doing this or what?
Yeah.
When you're a Christian, you always remember, I'm a child of God. God has a great plan for me
Yeah.
to succeed and
Yeah.
not to suffer.
Right.
So I'm going to follow this passion in me, and He's going to give me the tools and the strength and the resources and the friends.
Yeah.
And the negative ones are usually, because sometimes you can't block it all out.
Yes, yes.
So-
and it's always
Yeah.
gonna be there, whether you do
Yes.
good or whether you do bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you learn to actually just pray for that strength, for it to come in here and out here. And I have
Right.
taught my kids too that.
Right.
To a point where even like for kids, bullying at school is
Yes,
real.
yes,
So I'm
yes.
like, when it comes here, you know, it comes in and out, and you step on it and you keep
Oh,
going.
that is so cute. Yeah.
So So, and then just daily affirmations. Tell yourself, I'm capable, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm resourceful. I don't know it all, but it will come because I'm resourceful.
Right.
Yes.
And besides, even another term, other people who do not even know this term, there is no competition at all when you're doing what it is that you're called to do. It's
you're
a
not,
calling.
You're not comparing.
Because you're not comparing. You're not supposed to compete with anybody.
No.
Because if it's your calling, that's why you have that passion. That's why you have that drive to say, this is what I want to do.
There is only you, so be you.
One Françoise, one Amanda, one you. So
out of so many chromosomes, yours made it.
I know. And besides, there can be 5 gyms in Edmonton, but yours is different in its own way. The other one is successful and different in its own way. All of them can be successful, but functioning in different ways.
And always be learning, right? Always be learning. Never say, oh, I have arrived.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because we are created to keep learning and keep growing.
Arrival is 6 feet under. I have arrived. Am I going to hell or heaven? So, I am just saying, it's the same as people saying, oh yeah, how come you're not resting? I believe resting is for the dead. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
Because at the end of the day, why did God create us, right?
Yeah, to keep learning. And actually the Bible says, to the learning of my creation, there is no end.
Yes.
So for me, I'm excited.
Guys.
So I'm excited to keep growing, to keep learning, and always is the best is yet to come.
Yes.
And that keeps you excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, keep the excitement.
That is so great. Thank you so much, Françoise. And it was such an honor to have you on the show. It's always an honor to, interact with you anyway. Thanks. So it was such an honor to have you here.
Yeah, you're on a roll, so just keep going, right?
I know she's on a roll.
Yes, keep going.
Yes, and I'm actually enjoying just the process of meeting, people like you, entrepreneurs, and, looking forward to meet more people.
Yeah, and I keep learning from you too,
and
right?
I learn
from
everybody
out there, right? I need to learn to stop being so shy.
Right, I know. But like I'm saying, people will always talk, but don't let it get to you. Right? So it's one of those.
Haters gonna hate peace.
No, haters gonna make you famous. You see, like,
if you don't have haters, you're not doing that well.
You're not doing any work. Nobody knows you. So if I know this is so messed up, guys. We're not being cocky or anything. We're just being funny and being legit at the same time. But yeah, so.
But that's the thing. If you're a happy person, you are peer crazy.
Right? Exactly. You're peer crazy.
Because we're in an angry community or angry.
Oh my God. Thank you so much once again, Françoise, for having me on the show. So we're now about to come towards the end of the show, and we just had an interview with Françoise, the one that you've just heard. And if you have questions or anything, I will put Françoise's information at the bottom. You can contact her. She's open to helping people who also want to know here and there how to start their own business here in Edmonton. Oh, before we even leave, do you have any word of motivation, just a statement to motivate the people out there on whatever it is that they want to do, chase their dream?
No, other than, be you, because everybody's taken.
Right. Oh, be you, everybody's taken. Oh, wow, okay. Wow.
I know it sounds cheesy, but yeah, it keeps me in my lane. Don't try to be a copy.
Okay, everybody else is taken. Wow, okay, that's new. I'm still trying to process that. Yeah, so I have to repeat it to myself. But anyway, guys, you heard it for yourself. Be you, and because everybody's taken. Be you, because everybody's taken. But anyway, now we've finally come towards the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching, and please continue watching, and also subscribe to the channel, The Amanda Notando Show, right here. Exactly, just subscribe on the subscribe button, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, Amanda Notando Show. And also, I'm also going to put Françoise's details right at the bottom, so you can follow her and ask whatever it is that you want to ask Françoise. But anyway, thank you so much, and remember, little girls with dreams become women of vision. Take care and God bless you.